Just hours ago, a magnificent, weary Cape buffalo succumbed to the surgical, strategic attack of a lion pride. But no victory is final on this plain. The triumphant growls of the lionesses are now being drowned out by the raucous, maniacal whoops of the Spotted Hyena clan. This is not a dispute over carrion. This is a clash of dominance, a primal negotiation over who truly holds the deed to the night. The Lioness Matriarch, her eyes burning like amber coals in the gloom, stands over the kill, her muscular body a coiled spring of territorial fury. She is surrounded by her sisters, their coats stained with the evening's hard-won meal, ready to defend their bounty against impossible odds. Across the ravaged plains, the hyena clan, a ruthless, disciplined force of up to 50 individuals, advances. These are the Guerreras de la Resistencia, led by a female alpha larger and more ferocious than any male. Their communication is a complex, high-pitched cacophony, a battle plan relayed through a dozen distinct sounds. They don't charge in a chaotic mob. They surround, they test, they exploit every weakness, using their sheer numbers and unyielding persistence as a weapon. The lead hyena, with jaws capable of crushing bone like chalk dust, lunges. The lioness responds with an explosive snarl, her paw flashing out, a blur of claws and brute force that sends the smaller scavenger tumbling. But for every hyena momentarily repelled, two more fill the gap. The dust boils. The sound is deafening, a mix of tearing flesh, deep growls, and the chilling, maniacal laughter of the hyena clan. This isn't hunting. This is a tug-of-war for the right to exist. A dramatic, brutal opera played out on the unforgiving stage of the Savanna. This single, violent confrontation sets the tone for everything that follows. It reminds us that in this vast, ancient ecosystem, every breath is a victory, and every victory is earned through strength, strategy, and an instinct that never sleeps. This immense, sun-scorched territory is the survival arena, a breathtaking yet terrifying theater where the concept of life and the stark reality of death do not oppose each other. They coexist in a seamless, cyclical dance. Here, vulnerability is a death sentence, and hesitation is a luxury no species can afford. To merely see a new dawn, to find the shadow of a single acacia tree, to locate a sip of cool water, all of this is a monumental achievement. The currency of this land is brutal simplicity, force, strategy, and unadulterated instinct. These are the only things that guarantee one more day in a habitat that is as unforgiving as it is magnificent. You must be a master of the hunt or an invisible master of evasion. You must be able to withstand the brutal, year-long siege of the drought, or you must possess the social cohesion to engineer a collective survival.
Black Death reputation forcing even apex predators.
The Savanna's law is simple: adapt or perish. It does not discriminate. It does not forgive a single mistake. Today, we will journey into the heart of this crucible, meeting the creatures whose existence defines the edge of possibility, whose daily struggle teaches us the deepest, most profound lessons about resilience. We are about to witness the true cruelty of natural laws, a system that ensures only the most cunning, the most united, and the most determined are permitted to continue the chain of life. In the unforgiving heart of this land, where the rules of survival are etched in dust, one creature rises not just as a survivor, but as an architect of the ecosystem, the African elephant. They emerge onto the plains with an unmistakable, ancient authority, their colossal forms literally transforming the landscape with every majestic step. They break down the dense thicket, creating vital pathways for smaller herbivores, and by pushing over trees, they open up the savanna, fundamentally shaping the world around them. The true secret to their dominance, however, is not their immense power, but the hidden power of their minds. The herd is not led by the strongest, but by the matriarch, the oldest, wisest female. She carries within her mind an ancestral memory, a living, detailed map built over decades of dry seasons. Her brain is the library of the desert, storing the locations of ancient, forgotten waterholes, the timing of past rains, and the safest migration routes. In the face of a devastating drought, the herd relies not on chance, but on this shared, inherited knowledge, a profound demonstration that experience is the ultimate survival tool. Their communication, too, is a marvel of strategy. United by a language of the invisible, the elephants communicate through infrasonic calls, deep, rumbling vibrations that travel miles across the ground, unheard by the human ear. This silent, subterranean symphony allows them to coordinate the movements of the entire clan, relaying warnings and directions across vast distances, cementing their profound social unity. This cohesion is their definitive superpower. When the sun scorches the land, forcing them to embark on the desperate search for water, their journey becomes a test of faith in their matriarch's mental maps. It is this unbreakable social union, the unwavering loyalty to the wisdom of the elders and the collective protection of the young, that proves to be their single most powerful tool against the ever-present threat of extinction. They walk not as individuals, but as an unstoppable, unified consciousness. Now we move to the lifeblood of the Savanna, the river. Under the deceptively calm surface of these muddy poses, where the water appears still and inviting, lurks one of the most unpredictable and lethal forces in all of Africa, the hippopotamus. These creatures are the true guardians of the river, masters of a dual existence. During the blazing heat of the day, they are almost entirely aquatic, their massive bodies submerged to escape the sun's relentless assault. To further protect their sensitive skin, they secrete a unique reddish substance, often mistaken for blood, which is actually a natural oily sunblock and antiseptic. This blood sweat is a marvel of physiological adaptation, shielding them from infection and the fierce UV rays. They appear to be nothing more than colossal, lazy river stones, occasionally yawning in what looks like bored indifference. But let that deceptive tranquility not fool you. As the heat finally begins to descend and the shadows lengthen, the true potency of the hippopotamus is unleashed. They haul their mountainous forms out of the water, revealing their destiny as voracious, nocturnal grazers. A single hippo can consume dozens of pounds of grass in a night, marching across the plains with surprising speed and agility for an animal of their size. This transformation also unveils their secondary, far deadlier role, lethal territorial defenders. They possess a unique combination of surprising aquatic agility, able to swim and maneuver in the water with unnerving speed, and an unpredictable, explosive aggression. Their yawning is not fatigue. It is often a threat display, revealing tusks that are sharper and longer than those of many predators. As we remain by the water's edge, our attention is drawn to a creature that is a living monument to survival, a true survivor of geological eras, the Nile crocodile. This is a reptile whose lineage stretches back over 200 million years, an apex predator that has watched the dinosaurs rise and fall, adapting only when necessary, but perfecting its lethal craft over millennia. The crocodile is the undisputed master of the shallow waters, dominating the muddy banks and deceptive pools with an asset more potent than speed or size, absolute patience. It is the ultimate student of stillness. Submerged almost completely, only its eyes and nostrils break the surface, resembling nothing more than a log or a shadow. This camouflage is so perfect that it can maintain this vigil for hours, even days, waiting for the perfect, fleeting moment of vulnerability. When that moment arrives, when a thirst-crazed springbok or a weary wildebeest approaches the water's edge, the attack is not a chase, but an explosion of hydraulic power. It is a blindingly fast, devastating strike, culminating in the most powerful and devastating bite in the entire animal kingdom. The force of its jaws is unimaginable, and once it locks on, the prey is subjected to the infamous death roll, a violent, spinning maneuver designed to dismember the victim and drag it into the depths. It is an ambush perfected by time. Yet this ancient, cold-blooded killer holds a remarkable paradox. Beyond its chilling facade as a silent, efficient assassin, the Nile crocodile reveals an unexpected tenderness in the critical phase of reproduction. The female guards her nest meticulously, and upon hatching, she will gently gather the fragile, squeaking young in her formidable jaws and ferry them safely to the water. This maternal care, a flicker of warmth in the cold-blooded, is a strategy of survival as crucial as its bite, meticulously ensuring the continuity of its ancient species in an environment where competition and infant mortality are unbelievably fierce. The sun finally dips below the horizon, plunging the savanna into a world of indigo and deep shadow. This is the moment of the transfer of power. When the relentless heat descends, the lions, the legendary monarchs of this domain, assume their rightful control, becoming the kings of the night. Their advantage in the dark is overwhelming, thanks to a superior nocturnal vision that turns the moonlit plains into a tactical map. While the herbivores stumble and the day's predators rest, the lionesses become the ghostly strategists of the hunt. They utilize the deepening darkness and the long shadows as their invisible cloak, moving with a focused, silent cohesion that belies their size. The lion hunt is rarely a solo act of brute strength. It is a meticulously orchestrated teamwork exercise. The lionesses coordinate explosive, geometric ambushes, with some members driving the prey towards the waiting flanks of their sisters. Each cat has a defined role: the flankers, the central stalkers, the final assailants. Their success is a lesson in the geometry of aggression, utilizing the land, the shadows, and their collective intelligence to bring down creatures far larger and faster than themselves. The male lion, the magnificent symbol of the pride, contributes a different kind of strength. His power is not only in the final attack, but in the defense of the territory. His implacable, thunderous roar is the boundary marker, a psychological weapon that warns rivals, both other prides and hyena clans, to keep their distance. His very presence allows the female hunters to operate with greater security and confidence. Moving away from the brute force predators and the sheer size of the megafauna, we find an entirely different survival mechanism at work. High upon the rocky outcrops and the tallest observation points, the Chacma baboons demonstrate that complex social organization and intellectual strategy can be just as formidable as teeth and claws. The survival of the Chacma troop rests entirely on its intricate hierarchical society, a system governed by strict, unyielding laws and a sophisticated capacity for communication. They live in a perpetual state of vigilance, utilizing their superior height as a strategic advantage. From their watch posts in the heights, they scan the plains, creating a layered security system for the entire group. This vigilance is worthless without coordination. The baboons deploy a precise system of vocal alarms, with different barks, screeches, and gestures corresponding to different types of threats. A sudden, sharp bark for a terrestrial predator like a leopard, or a higher-pitched shriek for an aerial threat like an eagle. The instant a warning is issued, the entire troop reacts as one, knowing exactly where to run or, critically, when to stand their ground. They are adaptable omnivores, surviving on everything from fruits and insects to small vertebrates, allowing them to thrive even when specific resources are scarce. This flexible diet is supported by a rigid, military-like organization. When a threat materializes, the large, dominant males execute a cooperative defensive strategy. They position themselves as the shield of the troop, facing down the predator, using their size, formidable canine teeth, and combined aggression to buy time for the females and juveniles to escape. In the arid scrubland and along the dusty slopes of the escarpment, where danger can strike from the sky, the bush, or the ground, lives a creature whose mastery is language, the vervet monkey. These primates have developed one of the most sophisticated vocabularies in the entire natural world, a system of communication that is the key to their hyper-efficient survival. Their existence is a continuous high-wire act, navigating the perpetual dangers of the ground, where food is found, and the temporary security of the trees, where they must escape. To manage this risk, the vervets rely on much more than a simple generalized panic alarm. They possess specific, semantically distinct calls for each type of threat. There is a distinct, low-pitched chutter that warns of a leopard, a sharp, loud crack that signals an eagle attack from above, and a high-pitched chirp that alerts the group to the silent, slithering menace of a snake. Critically, the other monkeys hear these calls and react appropriately. The leopard call sends them scrambling up the tree, while the eagle call makes them dive down into the thickest bushes. This is a profound leap in animal communication, demonstrating the capacity for abstract thought and specific namming. Their society is built on shared vigilance and an impressive level of individual recognition. They keep track of who is trustworthy, who has a history of false alarms, and who is currently positioned as the best lookout. This community policing system ensures that no single monkey's mistake endangers the entire group. We turn our gaze back to the plains, where an overwhelming force of nature moves as one, the African buffalo. This isn't just a herd, it is an armored, sentient organism, a creature whose very reputation has earned it the chilling nickname, the Black Death. The buffalo demonstrates that true invincibility resides in the multitude. They exist as a solid, moving block of muscle and horn, a fortress with 1,000 defenses. When they move, the decision-making process is a fascinating exercise in animal democracy. The herd often reaches a root consensus, with individuals casting their votes by standing up and staring in the direction they wish to travel. The collective will, once formed, then dictates the massive, synchronized movement. But it is their response to danger that is most terrifying. They fiercely protect their young, forming an impenetrable ring around the calves when a threat appears. This is not a creature that bolts and scatters. The buffalo's strategy is one of aggressive defense and unwavering refusal to flee. Their sheer stubbornness and willingness to counterattack are what makes them one of the most respected and feared animals on the savanna. When the lions attack, they don't hunt a single buffalo, they hunt the edge of the terrifying block. The buffaloes will mass, lower their massive heads, and charge the predators, forcing even the kings of the night to break formation and scatter. Their defensive aggression is legendary. If one is injured, others will often return to defend it or even attempt a rescue, showing a profound collective loyalty. In the cool hours of the early morning, when the shadows are long and the heat has not yet paralyzed the land, the most dangerous place on the savanna is the watering hole. For the smaller herbivores, like the elegant springboks, and the opportunistic observers, the gallows to guinea fowl, the need for water turns this crucial resource into a zone of high tension. For these creatures, caution is the only true defense. They understand that the water's edge is the preferred ambush point for crocodiles, leopards, and lions hidden in the surrounding scrub. Every drop of water they take is a calculated risk, a direct transaction with the potential for sudden, explosive death. The springboks and guinea fowl have, perhaps unconsciously, formed a symbiotic early warning system. The guinea fowl, constantly scratching and pecking, are excellent observers of the subtle movement on the ground. When they detect a threat, a rustle, a coil, a slight shifting of shadow, they issue a piercing, frantic shriek, an unmistakable alert. The springboks, with their remarkable eyesight and ability to jump vertically with stiff legs, known as pronking, act as the visual signal flare. This relationship ensures that the paranoia of the individual becomes the survival of the collective. The moment the alarm sounds, the springboks unleash their signature asset, explosive speed. They launch into the air in a sudden, synchronized burst of motion, confusing the predator and instantly putting distance between themselves and the danger. Their survival is less about physical combat and more about the instantaneous, hypervigilant detection of threat. While the lions command the open plains, another great cat operates in a silent, solitary domain. He is the master of shadow, the pinnacle of self-reliance, the leopard, the ghost of the thicket. The leopard is the undisputed master of camouflage and stealth. Its rosette-patterned coat is not just beautiful, it is a complex, strategic disguise that allows it to merge seamlessly with the dappled light and shadow of the bush. It is a creature of zero visibility, capable of being 10 feet away while remaining completely undetected. Like the Nile crocodile, the leopard utilizes the abreviaderos, watering holes, as natural high-percentage traps. It is solitary and silent, stalking its prey not with a charge, but with a slow, deliberate creep until the distance is so minimal that the element of surprise is absolute. Its hunting success relies entirely on that initial, unexpected burst of ferocity. But its defining survival strategy comes after the kill. The leopard possesses immense, phenomenal neck and shoulder strength, a physical attribute that allows it to perform one of the most astonishing feats in the animal kingdom, hoisting prey, sometimes heavier than itself, vertically into the branches of a tree. This is not an act of strength display, but of survival economics. By lifting its prize high into the canopy, it keeps the valuable carcass out of the reach of rivals, the opportunistic hyenas and the dominant lions. Finally, we return to the creatures whose power is often misunderstood and whose intelligence is frequently underestimated, the spotted hyena. For too long, they have suffered under the miscasting of being simple scavengers, secondary to the great cats. The truth is far more complex, far more brutal, and far more impressive. The hyenas are, in fact, lethal resistance hunters, organized into massive, disciplined matriarchal clans, where the females are dominant, larger, and more aggressive than the males. They are an organized social army. Their power structure is a sophisticated, female-led political system, focused entirely on the strength of the collective. When they hunt, their strategy is one of relentless psychological warfare, the chase of exhaustion. Rather than relying on a sudden ambush or a quick burst of speed, the hyenas use their phenomenal stamina and boundless energy to wear down their prey, chasing them for miles, refusing to let up until the victim collapses from sheer physical and psychological exhaustion. It is a strategy of unyielding persistence. Their communication is incredibly complex, utilizing a sophisticated repertoire of howls, whoops, and laughs, a complex language that coordinates the movement of the clan across huge distances, allowing them to regroup, corner, and surround their prey. And once the kill is made, their specialized anatomy comes into play. They possess the most powerful mandibles of any land-based predator, capable of crushing and digesting bone. They operate with brutal efficiency, working as a collective to leave virtually no trace of the kill, consuming everything, thereby minimizing the ability of other predators to scavenge. We have witnessed a day and a night in the survival arena, a place that, in its magnificent indifference, teaches the most profound lessons. The Savanna, in its honest brutality, does not distinguish between heroes and villains. It only recognizes those who possess the will, the strategy, and the instinctual knowledge to fight to exist.
From the deep memory of the elephant,
We've seen the wisdom of the elephant, the supreme value of ancestral memory and social bond. We've acknowledged the lethal unpredictability of the hippopotamus and the cold, geological patience of the Nile crocodile. We've observed the necessity of lion teamwork and the intellectual defenses of the chacma baboon and vervet monkey. we've understood the unyielding power of the collective in the buffalo and the self-reliant cunning of the leopard. And finally, we've honored the boundless persistence and matriarchal power of the spotted hyena. These stories of adaptation, intelligence, and ferocity are more than just nature documentaries. They are parables for our own human lives. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story of survival. Join us next time as we dive even deeper into the wild heart of the world.